Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. Welcome to our 2024 ski test. Today we're talking about this Fischer Ranger 102. Back again for another season. No changes from 23 to 24 in the Ranger line, but obviously we got some fairly substantial changes from 22 to 23. That Ranger 102 FR, or more affectionately known as the pink ski, just earned a really strong following. A lot of people really liked it. Certain people were understandably concerned when they changed the ski. I, for one, and you may know this if you watch our content, think that it is a better ski for more skiers than that previous Ranger 102. There is kind of one application where I completely understand where people are a little bit disappointed, but I think that's a pretty specific application, and I don't think there are too many people that are going to be left out in the cold because they can't do that on the Ranger 102 anymore. And honestly, there are plenty of other skiers, or plenty of other skis where you could just replace the 102 FR with a ski from a different brand and you'll be just fine. Fischer is even working on some skis to fill that role. And yes, if you guessed it, that's more of a twin tip freestyle application. Maybe you've seen some of our content on the new Nightstick 97 with limited availability, and then it'll be available for 2025. But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here. This is a great ski. It kind of blurs the line between an all-mountain ski and a freeride ski, but I find it has a ton of versatility. Similar to the 96, this ski just leans a little bit further towards soft snow use and maneuverability, with the 96 being a little bit more focused on firm snow performance, or at least kind of boosting its firm snow performance compared to the 102. Inside this thing, we've got a poplar and beech wood core. Very nice blend of materials for a ski core. Poplar keeps things on the lighter side, and beech adds in some stiffness and overall precision in this ski. We have that shaped TI laminate in here as well. Obviously, the shorter the laminate, or the wider the Ranger, the shorter the metal laminate. This being the 102, it's pretty short. You know, it really doesn't extend too much into the fore and aft sections of the ski. And then we get a bigger flex cut. So that flex cut gets bigger and bigger as you go wider in the skis, kind of designed to give them a more natural flex pattern underfoot. Makes sense because as you go wider, you're probably in softer snow and you have less to push against. So having a bigger kind of cut in that metal lets the ski flex more naturally. So anyways, this is a 183 centimeter length, and we are just over 2,000 grams, so 2,050 grams in this ski, which isn't crazy lightweight, but not too heavy either. I think if you say you like line this up against an Enforcer 100, which is certainly a competitor to this ski, that Enforcer is a little bit heavier. So that's it for construction. I'd say for the most part, construction is fairly straightforward. I think the interesting part is how they shape this metal and how they kind of utilize the metal to give the ski the right performance. Looking at shape here, a ton of tip rocker in these skis. It's not a tremendous amount of splay, but from a length perspective, that's a lot of tip rocker. And there's a considerable amount of tail rocker too. So good shape. I'd say it's a very versatile shape. It's a very well-rounded shape. It's not trying to be the best at one particular thing, and that's really how I feel about the whole ski in general. It is very well-rounded. It has a very even mix of performance characteristics, and I am always a big fan of skis like that. Maybe the biggest benefit is that means there are a ton of people that can choose this thing, and it'll work really well for you. On a groomer, you don't get endless grip, but it does have this nice, smooth, damp, just like supportive and predictable feel. I think it's kind of a confidence-inspiring ski when you're just linking turns on it. Take it off trail, and as long as you don't go too long with your length choice, it is incredibly nimble. I kind of bring up that length as a determining factor because we looked at that weight, and if you go long with your length choice, you're gonna feel a little bit of weight when you try and swing the ski around. I actually found myself really liking the 176. I do appreciate this 183 as well. In the trees, I really like that 176 because it's just so quick and agile, and then the ski is still strong and supportive because of the way that it's built. So it's kind of an interesting scenario because on a lot of skis in this width range, in this category, I definitely find myself going 180 plus, but I don't feel like I necessarily need to do that on the Ranger 102. Yeah, it's so intuitive skiing trees on it. It's incredibly maneuverable for such a strong, kind of damp and just supportive feeling ski, which is great. It's like almost one of those things that like doesn't really make sense, that like you wonder how they achieved it. Now I kind of mentioned the freestyle application. That Ranger 102 FR was more of a freestyle ski. It did have a little bit more rise in the tail. Aside from that, the dimensions are actually almost identical between the 102 FR and this ski. So that's kind of what I meant, is most people that like that 102 FR are still going to really, really like the Ranger 102. The one thing that you can't really do on it is play around with mount point too much, because we have this shaped TI, or this flex cut rather. I personally wouldn't want to mess that up and move my bindings forward from there. A lot of people on that Ranger 102 FR, the pink ski, were moving their bindings a little bit more forward and getting some kind of park use out of it, or some light freestyle use. And yeah, I'd say that's like the one area where this ski is just not quite as good. It doesn't feel as good skiing switch. It doesn't really feel particularly good in the park. You can do it. I did it. Didn't have the best time in the world, but that's not what I want to do when I ski the Ranger 102. I want to ski fast. I want to rip some carving turns. I want to ski trees. I want to ski soft snow. I want to just do everything other than skiing park, and I think it does that really well. So awesome ski. Yeah, I hope too many people aren't disappointed about this new Ranger 102, because then I would feel like I'm wrong. I don't like to think that I'm wrong about a ski, and yeah, I don't know. I genuinely really enjoy it every time I get to ski it. So that's it. That's the Ranger 102 FR, or not FR. That's the Ranger 102 from Fischer. That's what I meant to say. And yeah, if you don't believe me, head on over to the ski test and read all the different feedback from different skiers. And I am pretty darn sure you're not going to find too much negative feedback in there. So yeah, let us know if you have any questions, and we will see you out there on the slopes.